Meanwhile, across the border in the Beaver State, where a good chunk of the eastern side of Oregon would like to explore becoming the western side of Idaho, there's a chance the governor's office could go Republican for the first time since Reagan ran the country. For 35 years, since 1987, Oregon has voted a Democrat as governor. This despite most counties outside the Willamette Valley leaning conservative. Is this a case of concerned citizens reaching their limit on left-leaning leadership? It could be, but it's actually because Oregon Governor Kate Brown has reached her 8-year term limit. And voters could still put another Democrat in that office, but political experts point to this race as a toss-up at this point. It is a three-horse race with Democratic candidate Tina Kotek going against Republican Christine Drazan and an unaffiliated candidate, Betsy Johnson. So a change is coming to Oregon, and a Pacific University political science professor tells Andrew Bartlein rural Oregon, like those in Ontario, some 420 miles away from Salem, now has a chance for their voice to be heard in Salem.
Just like so many states in the country, there's real intractable problems and people aren't seeing solutions from government. Our Democratic Governor Kate Brown has the lowest approval ratings in the entire country right now. So homelessness, people are concerned about crime, people are concerned about the economy and inflation, kind of the perfect wave for the Republicans. If they're going to take an election, this is the one to take because you don't get all these things coming together very often.
Do you think voters see Kotek as a continuation of Governor Brown?
Yeah, to a certain extent they do, but the ones who do already didn't like her. Tina Kotek has done a really clever thing. She is running against Kate Brown. She's saying Kate Brown was given this by the legislature. She failed to implement it. I will implement it. It will be good.
We have viewership in Malheur County in eastern Oregon, and a lot of these people are Republican. These are red counties. And we've heard people who live in these areas, city leadership from Ontario, tell us they don't feel seen in Salem. Do you think there could be an outcome in this election that maybe brings the state together a little bit because it is such a nuanced election? It
could be, but it's going to depend on whoever wins making that happen. If it was the next day I knew that I'd won, I'd immediately get on a plane and fly to places like Ontario. And I'd say, hey, I'm here for you, and meet with the city leaders and say, let's get things done. What's on your list? Let's go. And I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. Eastern Oregon has a problem. And the problem is simply very few people live there. So in Oregon, we have 90 members of the legislature. Only about 6 of them represent virtually all of Oregon from the Cascades to the Idaho border.
I'm curious, how familiar are you with Measure 110?
Very familiar.
I did a story recently in Ontario where a lot of city leaders and the district attorney in Malheur County, they voiced that they don't like it. When we talked with people in town, we had a number of people tell us they're single issue voters for this governor's race. If the candidate is against Measure 110, they're supporting that candidate.
Christine Drazan, the Republican, and Betsy Johnson, the unaffiliated candidate, if either of them wins, they've said that on their first day in office, they're going to submit legislation to repeal Measure 110.
Does the governor have the power to even do that?
No, they don't have the power to repeal it, but they have the power to submit it as a bill to the legislature. Here's the issue with Measure 110. It was passed by the voters of the state just 2 years ago, and it passed overwhelmingly. How do you phrase it? Do you basically say voters were stupid or the voters were misinformed? Because the voters were really, really clear that they wanted Measure 110. So I tend to think that it's going to be something that whoever wins is going to deal with, but I don't think there's going to be immediate movements to repeal it because the support for it is too strong right now.
Dr. Moore says the unaffiliated candidate, Betsy Johnson, has lost support with time. She has alienated voters through supporting organizations that would include Planned Parenthood and the NRA. Moore doesn't expect playing both sides to work out too well. And unaffiliated voters, Brian, are the largest portion of voters in Oregon. There are more unaffiliated voters in Oregon than there are Democrats and more than there are Republicans. So he says truly is them who are going to decide this.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time. I mean, I remember Idaho legislature once tried to override a vote by the constituents about, now I can't remember the issue, and it just escaped my head. But it is possible for the legislature to say, yeah, we don't believe what they said before applies today, and they could try to change that law when it comes to 110.
Certainly a possibility. We'll see how it plays out.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew.